Hello, 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 and welcome. It has been quite a while since we have been on this channel, but I welcome you all of you back to the Clodcast. Um, this episode is not starting with any PRs or any season announcements. This is starting with, as you can see, Roy Copium. Roy is going to try and explain why he thinks Grapploct is a better draftmon than Iron Jugulis.
And for key context here, this is not in Gen 9. This is in Gen 9.5, whatever we're calling the new gen. And if Grapploct gets certain moves that it now gets in CA.
Exactly. So, this Roy does this to try and get an easier punishment from his lost bets. Because he lost a bet twice now. First one he lost, and then he took a secondary bet to try and escape the punishment of the first bet, but he lost a secondary bet too, which means he would have to draft Firo. But
And it doesn't even get Bravebird.
Yeah.
It doesn't get Bravebird.
And he's now trying to get Dodrio as an upgrade by trying to explain to you guys why he thinks Grapploct is better than Iron Jugulis. While on the topic
For
of
context,
those
it's
two,
faster and gets Bravebirds.
we have Grapploct or Iron Jugulis, the versus. Now then, Roy, why don't you get us started? Why you think Grapploct is better than Iron Jugulis?
Okay, so Ben, do you know what new moves Grapploct gets in CA?
I know of Bullet Punch, Mag Punch, and Storm Throw.
That is correct. It also gets Knockoff.
Okay.
The knockoff is a good move as well. It also gets. These are much less important moves generally. Dual Chop is the only one that might have any issues, and I'll explain why in a little bit. But it also gets Chilling Water, and they're basically made in, and it also gets Vacuum Wave. Now, you might be asking, well, why does moves like Storm Throw, Mach Punch, and Bullet Punch matter? Well, Grapploct has two abilities. Its main ability is Limber. Now, Limber means you can't get paralyzed. No one gives a fuck about that. Unless you're playing someone like Emilio who T-Ray spams. No. The ability we care about is an ability called Technician. Now, most of you, I will be stunned if no one knows what Technician is, but just in case, and in case any of my colleagues from work are watching, Technician basically increases power of any base move that is under 60% or less by 50%. So, for example, Bullet Punch goes from 40% to 40 damage to 60 damage. Or, for example, Storm Throw goes from 60 damage to 90. Doesn't work on moves like Drain Punch and Brutal Swing. Could you put Knockoff instead of Brutal Swing on this ability set?
Yes, I can.
So, now, you might be wondering, okay, Grapploct is a shit mon. And in Gen 9, honestly, it pains me because it is a great design. It's got topsy-turvy, fun utility moves. It's a mon I really wanted to use. And then I saw its move board, it was utter trash. It doesn't have the worst stats in the world. Like, its speed is shit, let's be honest. 42 speed is terrible. However, 80 HP, 90 defense, 80 special defense isn't terrible bulk. I mean, Iron Jugulis, for example, has very similar stats bulk wise. Now, Iron Jugulis,
better defensive stats because the
are
HP is higher.
slightly higher, yeah. It's very similar stats. But Iron Jugulis, you're never going to be running like AV, you're never going to be running defensively, because Iron Jugulis is a fast kill bot. That's what it does. It's a robot, it's designed to kill. Does it get roost? It doesn't get roost. So it can't even be a defensive set because it doesn't hero itself. And it's not living a lot of hits. I did double check if it got roost. I wasn't sure myself.
Yeah, I'm just scrolling through moves right now.
Yeah. So, and to be honest, Iron Jugulis has basically one mode, all out attack. Now, Grapploct at the moment does have one mode. It's basically really bad support mon with some very niche moves. And trust me, I've tried to make them work. I once tried to make a Malamar Grapploct team work on ladder by using Octolock to basically make Malamar get better with its contrary. I got some wins. That's all. But if you add, but let's look at his stats again, because it's not, there is a key stat here. Now, I'm not looking at 70 special attack, because that doesn't really matter, unless you're memeing and want to run Chilling Water, Vacuum Wave, special uses yet. Actually, don't know. Yeah, and Round. Round's quite funny. And Snore. So if you do like a rest set, or Whirlpool, that's what I mean. If you add Technician, if you look at his attack stat, 118 attacks. Now, you might be wondering, what other mons with Technician get? What other mons with Technician have a really good attack stats? Scissor, and also Marshadow. Marshadow's banned. We're not going to look at Mega Scissor. And Breloom. They're 130 attack. Now, is it as strong as those two? No. But 118 attack is nothing to squeeze that Adamant, because you're not going to be running speed on this. So you can often just basically pump up his attack. There was a fun calc that someone did the other day for me, which was Grapploct Adamant into Abomasnow. As you can see, Bullet Punch. Bullet Punch is the one we're looking at first. Sword Throw's key as well, but Bullet Punch is the key one. So Mac Punch is doing 45 to 59. Breloom, which I'm just going to look at now a second. My screen, Choice Bands. Bullet Punch, Abomasnow. Fucking hell. Have I got a defensive bombs? I haven't got a defensive bombs, so that's why. I was like, that's a lot more damage than I thought it was doing.
So the Adamant, Adamant, Choice Bandit, Breloom, Mach Punch does 48 to 58 roundabout.
Yeah. Well, while our friend Grapploct,
and it does 46 to 55 roundabout.
That is quite comparable damage. So this thing can hit quite hard. That is good damage, and that's a max defensive Abomasnow with a snow boost as well. This is the thing, and Storm Throw, because it crits, can one hit KO. And this will go, and this is the thing as well. So let's say, for example, you're facing a screens team, crit through screens. Like having a 90 base power crit move is kind of nuts. Like, let me just see what other, because there's not really much distribution for Storm Throw at the moment. There is 3 mons that get Storm Throw. Ben, do you know the 3 mons that get it?
Hariyama, Grapploct, and Throw, I think.
Grapploct didn't get it until it was a new edition. Throw does get it. I didn't know the other 2. It's Pangoro and Pinsir.
Okay. Weird.
I don't know why Pinsir gets it. That is, yeah, Pinsir getting it's weird as fuck.
Pinsir gets a shit ton of fighting type moves for no reason, so.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, it's good way Acheron still types for it, so I ain't gonna complain too much. But yes, so always critting basically means it's effectively stronger than close combat. Like, this move is stronger than close combat. It's effectively 135 base power that gets around screens. I'm going to double check if it gets around snow. Could you just double check that for me? Because I'm not sure how the interaction works. Could you just could you put sand up? It gets around snow. Oh, no, it doesn't. It does not get around snow, but it gets around screens. Like, that is very comparable. Basically, you know why Urshifu Rapid Strike and Single Strike are broken. This gets a 135 base power move, effectively doing what those do. Now, am I saying it's on those levels? No, I'm not drunk yet. I've got a beer next to me. But it is a good, I think it's a good value. Was that?
Of course you do.
I need acetate, taste me shit. But it is basically a case of, I think it's a good value low tier, and I actually think it will be a legit low tier mon. Now, do I think it will be better on ladder than Iron Jugulis? Unknown on that one. I will say this: it might end up being like really meta because of basically its abilities. It might end up being like, hey, it's a certain niche, because on the CA ladder, I think it had, Joey's done a video on it where it was actually one of the top used mons at one point because it had a really good nuisance to some megas, and also being able to just fire off Choice Band, Mach Punch, and Bullet Punch. That's really good coverage, and that really hits hard. There's a reason like Sizzle's a good mon. Technician, Bullet Punch is strong. Now, is it without stab? But why do I think this is a better mon than Iron Jugulis? Multiple reasons. One, you don't know. There's some people who are going to be caught out by Grapploct because it's been a shit mon. And I mean that generally. Like, I do glaze notice, Grapploct before these additions is not a good mon. It's probably a 2-pointer at best before these additions. Legitimately. Like, it didn't have good priority. It didn't have good... It had basic fighting coverage. But what were you using Technician for? Like, let me just look at Gen 9 right now, for example. And let me look at Grapplokt's whole set. What moves help with Technician? So,
Brutal Swing,
it's moveset for
Power Up Punch.
Brutal Swing. Yeah, Brutal Swing, Revenge, Circle Throw, niche uses, Snore and Mudshot, Payback, Rock Slash, Power Up Punch. The thing is, though, you're not going to fire up many Power Up Punches when you're slow and everything. It's just going to die. And whilst it had good utility moves, Topsy Turvy has its uses. That is actually a niche move that not much gets. Taunt, gets Pain Split, so it does get recovery. You're not really going to draft it. There's better mons. There is way better low tier fighting types. You got stuff like Persimmon, Primeape. Primeape is a better low tier fighting type than this. It's bulkier. What is it? What else is it? What other low tier? Throw. Throw would be better, for example. Throw's not really a mon. Angoro. Ben's using one at the moment. Phalanx, because it's funny. That's a better mon too. What else is fighting type that's actually low tier? Beware, my boy. Grabomble, no. Grabomble also needs the mega, to be fair. And also got some boosts as well. Ball's a low tier. That's better. Hariyama, especially with Terra. Like, Thick Fat's a great ability with Terra. Poliwrath. Sadie loves that mon. Crafty. He's a hoodlum. Silvally Fighting. That's probably more mid tier, actually. So you would never draft it. But now, and there'll be some leagues definitely, where it will be under tiered. Because naturally, and this is obviously pending it keeping the moves. This is the most key part. It's got to keep these moves. These moves make it better. There'll be a lot of leagues that'll be under-tiering it. Because naturally it's a bit unknown. And there'll be some leagues that still have it as 3 points or 4 points because they'll miss out how much better its moves are. Therefore saving you value so you can get higher tier mons like Tornadus Furion, like Dragapult, like Mega Scovillain. It's a joke. That's not serious, by the way. Don't draft Mega Scovillain. Like, that's shit. Or like Mega Greninja, or Cinderace, or Mamoswine. Just much better mons that you can by saving points. Iron Jugulis is a good mon, but it's a mid-tier mon and will cost a lot more points. And to be fair, for what it does, I'd rather something better and more costly. Like, it's fast, frail. I'll get to the HP stats in a minute why I think it's more frail. And it just has a very inaccurate move in Hurricane. Now, am I lucky as fuck? Ben, how lucky am I?
Pretty lucky.
Remind them of what I did to you in a quarterfinal.
Parried me 6 times and crit me.
Exactly. Now, not all of you have my level of luck. Generally, like, otherwise, I would never actually win a draft game. That's the only way I actually win. So using them all like Iron Jugulis, I can get away with it. I'll hit Hurricanes. I won't hit Bleak Winds. But if I'm going to be gambling that kind of stuff, I'd rather something like Tornadus Furion because it's bulky and you get multiple opportunities. Unless you're Ben and it just misses all 10 times when he's drafted it. No word of a lie. I think you missed like how many Hurricanes when you drafted it?
No, I missed every single Bleak Wind except for one. Hurricanes I hit more than I missed.
This is what, by the way, this is a separate tangent. This will be another video one day. Hurricane hits more than Bleak Wind, and I'm not even kidding when I say that. I'm not even saying that's a joke at this point. But Bleak Wind's a fucking shit move. This is a whole different tangent. But yeah, and like if I'm going for mid-tier flying types, and I do mean mid-tier, I'd actually consider Mega Pidgeot over Iron Jugulis because whilst it's got worse coverage and it is a bit of a you know what it's coming with. It is going. Hurricane's always hitting. It ain't gonna miss. And it ain't gonna miss Heatwave either. It does still get Heatwave, doesn't it, Mega Pidgeot?
It does still, yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Like, I know. By the way, someone did say Iron Jugulis has bad coverage. I do respectfully. I don't agree with that point. It actually has pretty good. Yes, you could do with maybe T-Bolt, but the coverage is quite good. But sometimes it's a bit lacking in power. And like, I think it's also very Terra reliant. So Terra is a thing that's coming out of this format because someone was saying to me about, Grapploct's can do Terra Steel. And like, Terra Steel on Grapploct does sound really good. But as a Terra Mon, Iron Jugulis is definitely better in that regard because you can change it to one of its coverage moves and get a boost. Can even get rid of Hurricane for Terra Blast Flying and have 2 times stab Terra Blast Flying, and that will hit. Or even Terra Dark, because Dark's actually quite a reasonably good typing. But without Terra, you're basically locked into taking 25% from rocks every time it comes in, if you want the extra power you need, or running boots so you don't get chipped. And while it has a good speed stat, it's below being a great speed stat. Don't get me wrong, again, still a very good Mon. But I think for what it is point wise, you can get better Mons for slightly more points and save on getting, like, let's say for example, Persimmon is 8 points, which I think is good. Grapploct might be better than that now on certain teams because let's go back to Grapploct. So, Ben, question. If it's got 42 speed, how often are you going to run speed on that?
Never.
Never. So you're always going to be bulking it out. Now, look at Iron Jugulis. 8 speed. There's going to be quite a lot of games you're running speed.
True.
So, therefore, it has, even though it's got slightly more bulk, it's not going to be using the bulk often. And you won't run Roost. It doesn't get Roost. So you can't really run defensive sets. And don't get me wrong, I've made some fucking weird defense. I once brought a defensive Rabombi to a matchup, and it nearly worked. But that's also because draft lesson, guys. Don't draft only like 3 levitate mons and no flying type or grass type, because then Moldrake or Extra will beat your ass. And you have to bring shit like defensive Rabombi with infestation. That is a legit mistake to bring Gen 7. It was fucking hilarious. But yeah, this is never going to run bulky, so it is much more frail. And like a Grapploct gets stuff like bulk up, so it can run bulk. It can effectively run bulk up, drain punch, depending on the matchup. And this is something I got before: bulk up, drain punch, Mac punch, bullet punch, and run it with leftovers. You can also run AV sets on this mon as well. Like AV is a legitimate item you could run on this mon as well. Like it is got slightly worse bulk, but you can definitely run it. Well, you can run it adamant. You can run it adamant. You can run it defense. You can run it for death. Now, do I think this mon's gonna come to every game? Unless you're in PWC and it's your signature mon, which hey, I might use as my signature mon, generally. No. Do I think it comes to most games? I think it would come. It's going to be a 3 to 4 game mon. But for the points it is currently, as long as it's not tiered right, as long as it's not tiered too high, value. Like I think it's better value than Iron Jugulis, or at least how I play. Because I like having, especially my low tiers, a bit of bulk on them. Because if I'm going to bring them, it's more because okay, something's kicking my ass, or it hits a certain type, and fighting's not a type I really desperately want. Dark and flying, yes. If you don't have a good dark type, Carmine Sword Power will beat your ass, and also just you need answers to dark and knock off. Flying, you want to have a good. Now I will say this: Iron Jugulis is fine as a flying type because it's immune to effect. But Iron Jugulis is not really a dark type. It is a I'm going to kill stuff button. It's not taking knockoff horrendously badly, but if it gets knocked off, for example, if it's B, then you've lost your boots, and now you're weak to stealth rocks. It's not really what you want on a basic mon switching into knockoffs. Grapploct is actually better switching into knockoffs as a resist because it probably doesn't care as much about his item. Ben just got a knockoff.
Yeah, now for your knockoff point. This Iron Jugulis is taking 16% from a.
Could you put boots on it instead of booster? Can you put boots on it instead of booster energy? Sorry, because that's why it's taking so little. Oh, or just change the ability. Okay, so yeah, a bit more.
Didn't mean to do that.
No, it's all good. Just because, yeah, booster energy basically means it. Yeah.
Yeah, but the most it's
Perfect.
taking is
Okay,
23%, and that's from a lander with a 145 attack stat.
Oh, I don't disagree, but if it's boots and then you have to switch it in later and there's no ruse and there's rocks up, that's 25% gone as well. Like, I'm not saying it takes it gets nukes, but it's not. I'm not saying it's like Cortana. As soon as you hit it with a special move, it falls over. But more the implied effect as the battle goes on.
But saying Iron Jugulis is not a real dark type is, I think, is not really correct because Iron Jugulis actually the typing of Iron Jugulis is actually pretty good as a dark typing, because it is a dark type that is not weak to fighting.
Could you do me a favor? Can you put Persimmon close combat in there? Choice scarf.
Yeah, that's Choice Scarf, but that's like Kasuma has a 120 attack set. It's not like Iron Jugulis is a tank here. It's just
That's a 2-hit KO. That's a 2-hit KO.
yeah.
A low tier one. Well, low tier one. That's what I mean. This is what I mean. Let's go for something a bit. Let's go for something a bit weaker. Actually, I mean, let me scroll down the list. I'm not going to do Beware because Beware is always adamant. I'm going for something fast.
The Grapploct
Flamigo
would kill.
Yeah, that's insane. That is choice band. To be fair, that is kind of insane. Phalanx is a fun one. Yeah, Flamigo, close combat. Choice scarf, 115 attack.
Yeah.
Or even like Tauros close combat. Like, this is what I mean. Like, yes, it's a dark type not weak to fighting, but it's still getting 2-hit KO.
Yeah, but you also have
And that's because
you also have
you
to
never
see,
run defense. Yeah.
you also have to see the point that Iron Jugulis is faster than most fighting types.
Oh, agreed. But you're not using it as a switch into them. You're using it to kill them. It's never used defensively. It's dark typing. It's just purely an attack. It's like let me think another one.
I mean,
Let me find another one. Yeah.
I mean,
Like
that's the
what's a
same.
good defensive typing?
That's the same. Like, say, hey, like let's switch my Grapploct into an Urshifu Rapid Strike.
Oh, don't get me wrong. What I more mean though is it's more this is what I mean by the mon though itself. Like, what is a good defensive typing?
I don't know. Good defensive typing, Steel Grass.
Steel grass. So, Cortana, very good defensive typing. Are you ever using that for defense other than against a Dracovish?
No. But that's
Exactly.
that's
Even
not
though it's good
that's
defensive
not the
typing.
point I was trying to make. The point was more that
Oh, I know the point you're trying to make. I
you
get what your point is.
yeah, you said it wasn't a real dark type, but it does what most dark types do. The only thing it doesn't do is collect knockoff, because its attack set is not high enough for knockoff to be worth it. But you've brought a lot of points up for the Grapploct. Now it's time for me to bring up some points for the Iron Jugulis. Iron Jugulis is a mon that you're rarely gonna draft on its own. Like it's not a mon that is very good when it's just drafted by itself. But what Iron Jugulis excels at is electric terrain teams and rain teams.
Yeah.
Electric terrain teams allow Iron Jugulis to do no booster energy. It allows Meteor Beam sets though to work. So it gets faster because of the E-Terrain and gets a +1 boost from the Meteor Beam. And there's not a lot of Pokemon that switch into that with the coverage it has.
I don't disagree with that. That's a totally fair point. But to make it work that well, you do the Acific Mon because Pink Urchin's not working.
I mean, yeah, Pink Urchin is obviously not the one you want. It's obviously you're gonna pair it with Tapu Koko. But this is like the fact that you can make Iron Jugulis into this really, really threatening sweeping Pokemon, which you cannot really do with Grapploct.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like for Grapploct, you would need a shit ton of bulk ups, and even then, you're still probably gonna get one-hit KO by a flying move that's special.
I don't disagree, but I would also counter with I'm not drafting Grapploct to basically regularly sweep teams on the regular. It's more for specific matchups. Iron Jugulis, if you're drafting on that team, it's basically a key centerpiece. And don't get me wrong, as a centerpiece, it definitely does that role. Yeah, but you have to have either Pelipper, Politoed, or Tapu Koko to really make it work. Or in Ubers, and in Ubers, you're not really going to be. I feel like I don't think it work on a Kroger team, but I feel like actually with a Miraidon team in Ubers, it might work.
Yeah, and the next part is, as you've just mentioned, if you draft Iron Jugulis, it's going to be a centerpiece of your team. Grapploct has never been a centerpiece of your team. So you're definitely going to get a lot more uses out of the Iron Jugulis. And we're just going by straight up stats. Iron Jugulis hits harder. Of course, it has the downside. It needs to hit the Hurricanes.
Yeah.
But like, if we compare
I will give one more defense for Iron Jugulis as well. It's a better doubles mon. Only
Yeah.
because I actually did bring Iron Jugulis to a regional.
Yeah. Like
So I'm not like an Iron Jugulis hater, by the way. I brought Iron Jugulis to a regional, got 5 and 3 with it.
Yeah. Like this is the damage the Grapploct does with a max attack, adamant, storm throw, choice band.
Yeah.
And Iron Jugulis, Hurricane, is not even with a boosting item here. Of course.
Yeah, but how many times you hit those?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but you could say the same thing about like a Tornadus T, and you still would rather draft a Torn T than a Grapploct. It's the same thing with Zapdos. How often are you going to hit your Hurricanes on Zapdos?
Okay, I agree and put to a point, but I'd also point out both Zapdos and Torn T are a lot more flexible than actually Iron Jugulis. Like both of them can be defensive and offensive sets. You can run multiple sets on both those mons.
Yeah,
Iron Jugulis is one thing. And it's a lot easier to prep for one thing.
Yeah, but there's other special attackers that can run Hurricane. Like for example, Articuno Galar is a low tier special attacker with Hurricane. It's always like you will never run Air Slash on such a mon. Same with Tornadus Incarnate. You were.
I would I've actually run a Air Slash on Articuno Galar and actually got 3 kills with it, but that's because I triggered a competitive boost.
I mean, yeah, but
2 Tornadus Ice sucks. Like I'm actually that sucks. Like Iron Jugulis is at least a mon. I think Tornadus Ice sucks. Yeah, to be honest. So for context, for favorite clips, that's singles. I'm not on about doubles.
Yeah,
because I also bought that to a regional.
But there's a lot of mons that have Hurricane as their primary stat and that still get drafted a lot. We have obviously the Torn T, which you can run Bleak Wind, but who the fuck wants to run Bleak Wind?
Because it'll mess.
You're only running Bleak Wind if you are scared of the missed chance of Hurricane. And at that point, just run Hurricane.
Just run Hurricane, because actually, I think there's a statistical thing as well, where the amount of times Hurricane hits... By the way, this is different. This is singles specifically. Doubles, Bleakwood is bad because it hits both. Like, and you want to be able to hit both and get around, like, follow me support. Yeah. But in singles, you just hit Hurricane. Just man up and accept you miss.
Yeah.
Like, but... It's not. By the way, this is not me saying Iron Jugulis is undraftable. This is me saying I think Grapploct is better at drafting in general because it fits more teams and is cheaper, and also can do a little bit more. Whereas Iron Jugulis, what it does, I'd rather something either bulkier or cheaper. So, like for example, Iron Jugulis, there is a mon that on here as well, which I will say is a bit terror reliant and a bit weaker. Also works on a rain team quite well. Kilowattrel.
Yes. And I wanted to get into Kilowattrel. Kilowattrel is like a Pokemon you can very much compare to Iron Jugulis, and it's a low to mid tier flying type, and while it's weaker than the Iron Jugulis, it's faster.
Yeah, and it gets roost.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
Oh, I've got no. It gets roost. I swear it gets roost.
Was it roost or defog? It doesn't get. It's one of the two. I don't remember which.
It doesn't get defog. Oh shit! That was it. That was the other thing I forgot to mention as well. As a negative against Jugulis, it doesn't get defog. Yeah. Now I will say this. It's Nat decks. You can usually, if you're good at draft, you can definitely draft around that. Like it's Nat decks. Stupid things get defog. Like fucking Girder gets defog. Why does Girder get? Gen 9. I don't get that. I will say it does make it harder if your flying type doesn't learn defog. Now, obviously, it's not a definite. It's not saying it's a bad mon, but that's definitely also. That's what I mean as well. Like with Iron Jugulis, you kind of have to plan around the fact that your flying type doesn't have defog and your dark type doesn't get knockoff often. Now, don't get me wrong. You can run knockoff on Iron Jugulis sometimes if there's a spare move slot, because sometimes Hurricane Dark Pulse hits enough, and you can actually run knockoff as a 4th move for support. I think you can definitely do that. Is it there to do damage? No, it's just there to get rid of items in key spots. But as a general rule, you're not bringing knockoff or defog on it after your Dark or Fly type, so you need to plan that into your draft elsewhere. Whereas Grapploct, if you're drafting it, it's likely going to be around 8 or 9. You've already filled out key areas, and now you're just filling out types and just needing to hit certain things. It does get knockoff as well, and actually will kick knockoff. But the way I see Grapploct is it's a mon that you graph late on, whereas Iron Jugulis, you either plan around it, or it's a 10 or 11 mon that you have spare points and you want a nuke, and it's like, do you know what? hits things hard. I want a high special attack that hits hard and is fast. Boom, perfect. Perfect, like cherry on the top. And that's why I think I would draft Grapploct more, because usually in my early tiers I try now to, and this is me personally, this is also partly on my style as well. I try and get fast mons early because I've used mid tier fast mons and I fucking hate it. I want to claw my eyes out because I'm there. They say like I can't hit hard enough. Whereas if I use stuff like Cinderace, I actually get wins. Cinderace is a go.
Yeah, but
Iron Jugulis, by the way, would fit into like on the team as well. If I was drafting a rain team, I would definitely consider Iron Jugulis. And if I did Ledge Train again, I would get Iron Jugulis and try it on that.
yeah, but
This is not me, but that's a specific team. Grapploct I try on a lot of different teams.
Yeah.
It's a low tier.
I think you've also said earlier is you value Grapploct more because of the defensive value it can bring over the Iron Jugulis. But I want to advise you to this calc. So this is a regular Charizard without Sun. It does 71 to 84 to an Iron Jugulis with a flamethrower. This is choice specs. And this is not invested at all. Max HP, Grapploct, doesn't take that much less than it.
Okay, but remember what I said though. I don't disagree. But now put an AV on it.
There we go. There we go with the Assault Vest. And
yeah,
the Assault Vest is a good point. You were kind of ignoring the point I was trying to make.
Oh, I get the point you're trying to make. But the point I will make is Grapploct. Well, yeah, I get your point you're trying to make, to be fair. And like that does surprise me a little bit. I ain't gonna lie. Because Charizard I will say Charizard is a powerful mon with flamethrower stab with specs. I will say this is a bit for Death Week, but would put a lot more into Grapploct surviving a hit. Does it get a rock move? I actually don't know. It should do. It's a fighting type. Fighting types usually get rock moves.
It does not.
Fucking hell, okay. It loses to Charizard, let's be fair.
It gets liquidation.
Charizard usually uses on the Sun team, but we can put liquidation in the calc. I don't think that will kill though.
That doesn't kill. And
not if you're AV. Not if you're AV.
Yeah, and you're adamant max attack, so
yeah, I wasn't expecting that to kill because it's not stab, to be fair. And also, again, a lot of the reason why I think Grapploct has improved a lot isn't because it did actually get it did have liquidation before, so that was already there. This is definitely better. That'll miss though, but I also would semi-argue as well. Sun would be up, so I don't think either count. I don't think either counts that. But if you're using Charizard, you're probably using it on a Sun team.
Yeah, I mean,
but
realistically, both of them kill after rocks because Charizard. If you're bringing choice picks, Charizard is always coming in after rocks. But
yeah, so both are killing. To be fair, what I would say is, because this is the thing. My point on Grapploct, why it's now better, is not because they almost got, because they already got liquidation. Like liquidation was on its moveset before, and its current moveset not that good. Gets coverage, but not the things it needs. It really needed the Mach Punch and the Bullet Punch with the Technician and Storm Throw to give it a bit more power. But now, don't get me wrong, isn't going to
There's
hit.
another thing we have to consider here, and these are trends in draft. How many draft players draft slow fighting types?
That's a good question. What's slow fight? Let's have a look.
We have, for example, we have Conkeldurr.
That's a good one. I don't draft that often, to be honest.
In the last 2 CPL seasons, undrafted.
Crabominable. Ben's drafted that.
Yeah, but on specific Trick Room teams.
Yeah, no, I am joking when I say that. Throwaway's a 2-point mon. To be fair, I drafted that. Iron Hands doesn't actually get a draft that often. I will be honest with you.
Yeah.
Kangoro. Kangoro, I've seen on your team, but yeah, these are. I will say this: most of them are low tier ones as well. Like Hariyama, I draft on the right team. Beware, I nearly got that to. I would like to point out I nearly got that to the kills bet in a different league. Decidueye Hisui, you need Terra to make it work. And even then, it's because I can move. Ember again, yeah, I will say this: like a lot of these aren't drafted that often, but my point isn't. Well, these are also a lot of them are in the low point range where you'll have like a niche use for them.
Yeah.
And I think Grapploct with certain moves, I actually see me drafting over a lot of them without terror.
Yeah,
With terror is a bit of an argument. Like
but
it all depends what Cobalt will get. Like
we also have to think about how draft players think. And most draft players, if they draft a fighting type, they want an fast offensive fighting type. Like the fighting types you see drafted the most: Iron Valiant, Gallade Mega, Low Punny Mega, Metachem Mega, Grey Tusks also not
okay,
that slow. Urshifu's
I would
also
point
not
out
slow.
you are naming some of the best mons in the format. To be
Yeah.
fair,
I mean,
whether they're fighting or not, like generally Caesar as well.
even then, Mian Shao always gets drafted, at least by one person, and so there is Infernape also gets drafted from time to time. Like the amount of slow fighting types that get drafted is a lot less than fast fighting types. So
my point to that is that a lot of those are high tier mons, and actually are like higher tier mons than like Iron Jugulis. Mian Shao is the same tier, and actually I rate Mian Shao over like Iron Jugulis easily. But I've used Mian Shao a lot, and I've got because Regen's broken. Regen's just so broken. Even on a frail mon, it's kind of broken.
yeah, but you also
Which Mian Shao is, but it
this,
makes Mian Shao bulky.
yeah. But my point I'm trying to make is here, like a lot of people are not drafting a fighting type to have it be slow as balls, and hey, I might get a hit off.
Yeah.
Like
My counter is the low tier fighting types that are there. Caesar Hisui never gets traffic because it never has a use. I'm just going to go through the low tier ones. Virizion, you're never going to use it, even though it's fast. It just doesn't hit hard enough, and it's low tier. Porma, I classify as mid tier. You might draft the Tauros, Aqua, and Fighting one because they're actually kind of fun niche matchups. Combat, you're probably not going to draft. Primate, yeah, sometimes to be fair. Actually, I've actually drafted it. Hitmonlee, Pacific teams. Heracross is mid tier. Suck these nuts. That's the only reason why you draft it, is to make that joke.
yeah.
Toxicroak, doubles. Okie dokie is mid tier. Monferno, not a mon. But as you go down, like this is the thing. If it's a fast fighting type, if it's a great mon, it'll get drafted. If it's a low tier, not going to be used because why would you basically get a frail low tier fighting that doesn't hit hard?
Yeah,
If it's going to be a fighting that doesn't hit hard, you want it to be kind of bulky.
yeah, but then again,
If you
we come to
go
the
get
point.
fighting early,
To the point you're making, there's also two amazing fighting types that are slow and not low tiers: Conkeldurr and Iron Hands. Though both of them also don't get drafted often.
Agreed. But I'd argue Iron Hands is more suited to doubles. Again, it's a very good mon. It's not a bad mon, but people just don't draft it. I think I actually should use it at that point because it is actually really good.
But
I will say Iron Jugulis in. I will say Iron Hands in singles. What is missing is the fact that Supercell Slam is a stupid fucking move.
yeah,
Make it actually do damage.
yeah, but
Why are you giving it 100 base power?
If we're making this comparison to Grapploct, we obviously also have to make this comparison for Iron Jugulis. So let's go over some dark types or flying types it could be compared.
Yeah, we're dark types.
Yeah, well, special dark types. There is the only ones that really get drafted are Greninja, Hydreigon, Chi-Yu, and Darkrai. The rest don't really get drafted. So there's
I will hang on. I will counter with I've seen who run battle drafted a fair bit. Not all the time, but a fair bit.
Yeah, but
and Moltres Galar as well. Moltres Galar gets drafted a fair bit, and I actually count that as a special attacking one.
Yeah, but it's also like we can compare Moltres Galar to Iron Jugulis. While Moltres Galar is definitely bulkier. Moltres Galar has the problem that it needs to be hit, also doesn't get recovery, and it's not as strong off the gate. And
Agreed. I will say this though. I prefer Moltres Galar because of the bulkiness, and you can do a bit more of that. It needs defog, if my honest opinion, but I actually prefer Moltres Galar because you get more chances to hit Hurricane.
I mean, you could argue that, yeah, but also what you have to consider with Moltres Galar is Moltres Galar, its most used set is an agility set. You have to use it, waste a turn to use that agility. With Iron Jugulis, you get booster energy for free when you come in.
Yeah. One time though.
Yeah, one time. Unless you're an electric terrain, of course.
Yeah.
Now let's compare it to some flying type. We're strictly going over special attacking ones. Charizard Mega Y.
Yeah, don't do physical ones.
Yeah, Charizard Mega Y is obviously one that you only use if you have specific teams you want to use with it.
I will say Charizard Mega Y also doesn't click a flying move. So yeah, it has to be ones that click a flying move.
Yeah, so Thundurus, Enamorus, all are out. Pidgeot Mega is a Hurricane bot.
Yeah, and Heat Wave, but yeah.
It clicks Hurricane and Heat Wave, and its coverage is not good enough to be comparable to Iron Jugulis. Yveltal is obviously banned. And then we get to like Moltres, Zapdos, the Tornaduses, and the Articuno Galar. Which Zapdos is obviously better.
And Togekiss.
Like Zapdos is obviously better. Same with Moltres. But they also fill different niches.
I would say Moltres can be offensive as well, but does sometimes need Terra for it to work.
I mean, yeah, they both obviously have higher special attack, but like Zapdos, unless you're running Rain, you're not often using it that offensively. It's more like, hey, I'm here, I click Roost, I am annoying, I am defensive with Static. Same with Moltres, just with Flame Body.
Yeah, I will say this. I've actually gotten the habit when using Zapdos before I stopped using it is of actually realising that I was using it too much defensive. I think it should be used more offensive sometimes, but it is best set is defensive. But I'd also argue it's kind of it can actually sometimes do the offensive set better than Iron Jugulis just because of the Roost recovery. Just gives you more time. Moltres, I would say Roost offensive doesn't really work on it as well. It kind of has to be X, Nuke, and Terra and stuff. And also kind of rely on them not having good rocks.
Yeah.
Togekiss also can be offensive, by the way.
Yeah, but Togekiss does not click Hurricane, it clicks Air Slash.
Agreed.
And then we get to, like, Amon you could compare relatively to the Iron Jugulis, which is Articuno Galar. Also a mid to low tier Mon. And while it has a higher special attack set, its speed is significantly lower. Like, by over 10 points lower. And as we know, Iron Jugulis and Articuno Galar can both be used on rain teams. Both can spam their Hurricane. But the Iron Jugulis is always going to be a bigger threat because of the booster energy. And the thing is, like, while we're here comparing the Iron Jugulis with other Hurricane users, see how we didn't mention the Grapploct that often when comparing to other like fighting types?
Yeah.
So Iron Jugulis has definitely a more fleshed out niche than the Grapploct does.
Oh, I agree. I right now Grapploct is potential because again, we haven't seen if it keeps these moves. Because if it doesn't keep these CA moves, then I am not making these arguments. And we do have to see how it lines up into stuff as well, how it lines up with other mons. It might be much worse than I'm expecting. It might end up being much better than I'm expecting. It might actually become a legitimate like niche mon on like OU ladder, for example. Like especially if certain, let's say for example, Mega Deance is out of control. Grapploct. I don't get why you wouldn't do Sizzle, but Grapploct might be a thing on certain teams if you need like certain coverage or like you really want pain splits.
Yeah, but let's get like look at this head to head. Like this is against an Assault Vest Grapploct. So this is Hurricane hits. This is from Timid, by the way. No boosting item. If we put a boosting item
what happens
on here,
is
hang
on. If you're boost energy, you hit the Hurricane. I hit back with Storm Thrower and I kill you Mat Punch. I win the 1v1.
That's if you don't get confusion, obviously. But
I won't, though, but yeah. I'm that good.
The thing is,
you have to hit the Hurricane.
The thing is, in a head-to-head, obviously, we run the Iron Jugulis would run booster special attack, for example, because it doesn't need the speed. See, this is booster special attack.
Can I ask that in the head-to-head? Can we make it Spadef boosting? Sorry, Spadef boosting on the Grapploct. No. Spadef boosting first. So put 4 in there. Yeah, and put 4 in Spadef. Okay, that did not do. Why is that not doing anything? Oh, you made it modest. That's why.
Yeah.
Okay, can you then take away some of the attack? Actually, yeah, just take actually maybe on 4 attack and then do 2/5/2 Spadef.
You have to get 2 high rolls to kill.
I can do that. I'm capable. You have to hit Hurricane.
I mean, yeah, hurricane. We have to hit a hurricane, but if one hurricane hits, you can just go ahead and click like an earth power, and there's.
Oh yeah, for sure. I could also do. Okay, I will say this, but also as well, if I'm drafting Grapploct, it's not to be my answer to Iron Jugulis. I would draft I would draft either like an electric type, with Shaka, or I would just draft something that's fast so they can just kill it, like Choice Scarf Mammoth Swine. Yeah, Choice Scarf Mammoth Swine works. Like, I'm just thinking of things I've drafted recently. Like, Grapploct is not, if you're doing 1v1, like, depending on the actual Iron Jugulis set, the Grapploct can beat it, but I more mean like, as in Grapploct is a better variety mon, whereas Iron Jugulis has one set. And it's a good set.
Okay,
But...
then let's go over something Grapploct should be beating. Darkrai. This is like, let's say this is its choice specs model. Click Psychic. You're switching in one time, and that's it.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
And obviously...
Now, could you count how much Adamant AV is doing with Mach Punch? I'm kind of curious, actually. Okay, could you put rocks up for me a second on their sides? And then click on Mach Punch? That's a pretty good calc on like Darkrai.
Yeah, but if we're considering Darkrai, it's also probably not running max speed. It's probably going to run a little bit of bulk.
And it has to be locked into does have to be locked into Psychic to do that.
Yeah, but you come in, you take the Psychic, and then either Darkrai switches out, or you have to have rocks up and hit your roll. And
I would point out though as well, often Darkrai runs Life Orb, not Choice Specs.
I mean, yeah, obviously you could say Life Orb, but
now with Life Orb chip, that's a KO.
Yeah, with Life Orb chip, it's a KO, but Darkrai is still 2-hit KOing.
It is still 2-hit KOing, but it has to basically kick Psychic on you. I'm taking basically the Dark Pulse pretty well. They have to either make a read or be Choice Specs to do over 50%. And I could also tweak it so I'm also living the I could tweak it so I'm also sorry, I'm just rage baiting Emilio a second. Which is fun. You should tell him he got relegated. Fuck, I was trying to thought. No, but I can also tweak. Darkrai's a lot is actually one I would use it against, and Darkrai has to click that coverage move and either be locked in or Life Orb, and then Mach Punch kills. And this key thing, getting Mach Punch is a big reason why it's improved a lot as a mon.
Wait,
as a technician.
I forgot to take off the special defense.
Oh yeah, it's doing a lot. Yeah, I was gonna say I thought that was a bit.
Yeah, so you either have to lock this and basically die. Because the Darkrai is never staying in, obviously, unless the person doesn't know Grapploct gets Mach Punch. But
which is very possible now.
I mean, yeah, this also comes down to, is the player you're facing a lower skill player or a higher skill player? A higher skill player will know, oh, it gets Mach Punch, I switch out. And if we're honest, let's say rocks up are on your side. You take rocks and it clicks Dark Pulse. Yeah. And then it switches out. Next time, Darkrai predicts you. You take rocks and you die to Psychic.
Agreed. But you could say that for a lot of things that get coverage moves as well. Like, well, this is down to this. Well, this gets a coverage move for this. And this is also one of the best mons in the format, Dark-wise.
I mean, yeah. Let's. I mean, what other Dark special attackers do we have that we can choose? Chi-Yu.
No, okay, Chi-Yu is not a reasonable count.
Greninja.
Greninja is also a fucking insane mon, but yeah, Greninja's fine.
Okay, so Greninja, you're coming in once on a Dark Pulse, and then use Live Surf as well. So.
And this is specs, by the way.
Yeah, this is specs. This is protein specs. So
And often I will say, it's often their battle bond, if anything, like if they can get away with it. But yeah, this is what I mean. Like, it can actually tank stuff from like GU. No model on the planet unless they're fucking like water fairies tanking hits from GU. You have to be pre-marina. Like, that's not fair calc.
I mean, yeah, but like going back to the Iron Jugulis. Here we have an Iron Jugulis. And let's say there's something it can switch into. What does it switch into? What could it switch into? Let's say it goes
An earthquake. Yeah, let's do Dragapult.
So this is uninvested.
That?
This is uninvested. Iron Jugulis taking
Yeah,
only.
do Modest. Do Modest because it can do Modest, and that is only 100 attack as well. To be fair.
Yeah. So it does about 32 to 38. So this is like uninvested. So it can come in onto a Dragapult and then threaten it out because it gets a booster. Of course, if a Draco predict happens, you die. But
yeah,
this is also again comparing role. The role of Iron Jugulis is not to be a defensive mon, but it can.
I would also point out it dies to 2 flamethrowers.
I mean, yeah, but
not even stab.
It's still choice specs modest Dragapult here. But like, again, Iron Jugulis' job is never, hey, I'm here to be a bulky threat, a bulky mon that takes a lot of hits. I'm here to be an offensive threat. And Iron Jugulis does that pretty well because let's say we swap out the booster.
Yeah.
With his specs. He can one-hit KO Dragapult with a Hurricane. That's quite strong. Let's say something that resists Zapdos. Max HP is taking over half from a Dark Pulse and still a lot of damage from the Hurricane. This is obviously physically offensive.
Yeah.
Let's say it's
but the difference is Zapdos can roost and heal that back up later. Jugulis cannot.
Yeah, but you could make the same argument for Grapploct. Grapploct can come in, but it cannot
Grapploct,
heal.
Grapploct does actually get recovery moves.
Drain Punch.
And Pain Split. She gets Pain Split. I didn't notice until this video started, but actually does get Pain Split.
Oh, okay, good point.
And, yeah, I didn't actually know it got. To be fair, I didn't know it got Pain Split until like literally this video, so that's new. But Pain Split is quite niche, to be fair, and I don't know how good it would be on it, to be honest, most of the time.
Well, I think we've put up a lot of points. So, positives for Grapploct. It can run defensive sets better than Jugulis. And it's
cheaper.
It's cheaper and it gets priority. The cons, it is a lot weaker than Jugulis in the offensive department because the coverage Jugulis gets is better and the offensive item selection is probably better on Jugulis as well. Because booster energy, power, meteor beam stuff, so Jugulis are classes in the defensive department. Jugulis is better on specific teams, while Grapploct is more, hey, I have money for a low tier fighting type. Let's put Grapploct in. Now then, Roy, why don't you explain real quick why you deserve Dodrio over Fearow?
Okay, it's because basically this started because Dawson got Grapploct as his punishment, and before that was actually a punishment, genuinely. And then he gets every fucking move under the sun in like CA. Like, that's not fair. So therefore, but I'm also not a dick, and I don't want Dawson to suffer because he got lucky. And I was like, okay, did Fearow get Brave Bird? Because I could settle for Brave Bird because I could then do Focus Energy, Sniper Brave Bird, and it'd be funny. Doesn't even get Brave Bird. Like, is Dodrio a good mon? No. But it gets Brave Birds. Fearow gets fucking nothing. Like, Ben, do you want to show us the move pool of Fearow?
Well, that I have preferred stuff.
If you show me that, by the way, I would like to point out I did try and cope by making the Focus Edge Sniper go pen set. I was like, nope. Not in Talion. This is not going to work.
So, what does...
Ben's struggling to actually get. Yeah, Ben's also like this as well. Like, what the fuck does it actually get? This is a better set. This is actually usable.
Let's compare the stats real. Bulk is pretty even, but
yeah, about the same.
Yeah, Dorio's faster and stronger.
And it gets Brave Bird.
Yeah, but the one thing Firo gets, the two things Firo gets that Dorio does not: defog and U-turn.
I can cope with that. That's fine. Genuinely, I can deal with that. And he gets Haze, so Haze is handy. I would because I could just draft because my plan is potentially just to bring it to the first 5 weeks, get 3 wins somehow, and then just drop it.
I mean, fair. So Roy,
I only have to bring it to the first 5 games.
So one reason you say you deserve the Dodrio over the Firo is because Dawson got lucky.
Agreed. Very lucky.
Counterpoint here is Dawson has lost 1 bit. You have lost 2.
Oh, I don't disagree. That's why he shouldn't get punished for it. Like, he got lucky, but he shouldn't get punished for it. But I would argue how she's got Grapploct for 4 games when it's now a 4-game mon is not a punishment. And I'm not saying he should get punished harder. He got lucky. It happened. I'm just saying my punishment should be slightly less severe. By the way, I was asking for 2 cannon, but 2 cannon probably is better than Dodrio.
By a lot, yeah.
Yeah, by a lot. I didn't because I was thinking in my head. I was going to bring basically every week choice bands, instead of rock blast sets, and just nuke shit because that's actually not terrible.
It's also good physically defensive, physical defensive set because of roost, heavy duty boots, beak blast, burns.
Yeah, true. Actually, it's probably semi-fireable. Also, I deserve it because I've had a very hard day at work. We were very short-staffed, and I suffered.
Well, there you have it, guys. This was a pretty long debate. We've both made our points. And Roy made his point why he deserves a Dodrio over Firo. I will put out a poll after this video releases, and you guys can vote on if Roy deserves the Dodrio or not, based on his debating skills here. Anyways, thanks for listening to the Roy Cope. We were the Clodcast, and we wish you a good week until the draft starts. Goodbye.
Vote for me to get Dodrio. I love you all.